if you want to be different than what you see all around you, you have to do different shit. You cannot say, oh, I want to be big, I want to make a change in this world, I want to do something unique and special in this world, and then do the same thing everybody else is doing. You have to do different shit. So don't be afraid to go outside of the box. Don't be afraid to do something that nobody else is doing or that not very many people around you are doing. Do whatever your spirit calls you to do. Trust yourself, trust your intuition. Nobody can tell you what is meant for you. Nobody can tell you what journey, what path, what anything that's meant for you, because they are not you.
Gone for a year, only know like once. Life move fast when you do what you want. At this time,
Hi, my name is Brielle. Welcome back to my channel. If you clicked on this video, chances are you're going through a spiritual awakening or your spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to tell you right now that it's not everything that it seems to be. Especially what people put out on social media. There's a lot of different just misconceptions about a lot of things regarding spirituality. So these are a few things that I wish I knew when I started my spiritual journey around 2-ish years ago. Baby, I've got a long way to go. I'm gonna also be doing my makeup while I talk about this stuff, because y'all know I love doing my makeup. I work at Sephora and they gave me my gratis for last month and I got some pretty good stuff, so I'm gonna be trying out a few things today. So the first thing that I wish I knew before I started my spiritual journey was that this shit is not easy. I feel like some people kind of glorify the process or the journey of healing, or they aren't really 100% transparent about how difficult it can be to go through these things, especially when you're talking about healing trauma. It's not a fun process, it's not easy, it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not just going to be all sparkles and rainbows. There's going to be a lot of downs, there's going to be a lot of times where you want to give up and you just want to say fuck this shit and I just don't want to do this anymore. But you have to remember that this is what you're here for, to become better, to become a better version of yourself, to become the best version of yourself, and period. I also feel like people don't really understand what healing is. Like, you can't say, okay, I'm gonna heal until October and then I'm gonna be done healing. Like, that's just not how it works. Like, I've heard people say that so many times, so that's just so unrealistic. Healing has no time limit. I honestly think that healing is something that is forever. Like, I don't think it ever ends. I think that we as human beings come here to heal, to evolve, to become, like I said, better, to become a better version or the best version of ourselves. So if you were done healing, you wouldn't even be here to begin with, because that's the whole point of you being here, is to heal. Also, healing is not linear. You're not gonna just be, okay, I'm at this level here and then by 6 months from now I'm gonna be here and then that's it, I'm just done healing. No, you're gonna go here and then here, then all the way back here, then here, and that's not something that's easy to go through. Just when you're talking about trying to figure out how to balance your emotions, it's not easy, because a lot of us are not taught how to do that. We are not taught how to balance our energy, how to balance our emotions. You don't heal just from time going past. You heal from actually doing the work. Actually taking accountability for the parts that you played in it, actually understanding what you can do better next time, understanding why it happened to you, understanding how some of it is just out of your control, just understanding different parts about it, and forgiving yourself for whatever mistakes or decisions that you made. That is the best way to heal, is to actually talk about it and to confront it, not just to pretend like it doesn't exist or try to fill yourself with other people, like friends or boyfriend or family, just to make yourself not think about it or forget about it. That's not how you heal. That's how you run, that's how you suppress, and that is not going to do anything but except make you explode one day and, yeah, probably have a mental breakdown. Next thing I say was probably one of the hardest pills that I had to swallow. And that's the thing about going through a spiritual awakening and a spiritual journey. It really teaches you to become aware of yourself and what parts you're playing in your own suffering, what parts you need to take accountability for, what things you need to fix about yourself. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't like to do. They don't like to see what's wrong with them. They don't want to see what they can do better. They just want to blame it on everybody else and say, it's he did this, she said this, she said that. But at the same time, there were things that you did that also contributed to certain things happening into your life, and that's just the hard truth. You have to learn to take accountability for some things. Of course, there are things that are out of your control. Not everything you have control over. You do have control over, if someone says something to you and you react in a certain way, you chose to react. If you choose to smack the shit out of somebody after they talk about you, you chose to smack them. Yeah, this person may have said something about you, but you chose to allow that to make you angry. You chose to allow that to make you act out. You subconsciously chose all of these things. Even though it can happen in like a second and you may not even think about it and you just do it, it's something that is subconscious. If you know who you are, if you're secure in yourself, you won't care what somebody else is saying about you. And it's like, yes, somebody can do something to you which can cause you to feel a certain way or cause you to have a certain reaction, but we have to remember at the end of the day, it is all about learning how to control your emotions, how to control yourself, how to control your actions. Stop letting other people invoke you with so much anger. Don't let these people make you act out of character. Remember who you are. Remember what you know about yourself. Don't give a fuck about what anybody else is saying. Instead of just trying to blame everything on everybody else or blame everything on your circumstances. Oh, I can't do this because I'm this, or I can't do this because I don't have this, or I can't do this because of this. No, you can do whatever you want to do. You can't do it because you don't think you can, because you keep saying you can't. When you change that mindset to I can do it, then you can do whatever you want to do. But while you have that limiting belief system, you're not going to be able to do shit, because you yourself don't even believe that you could do it. So how the hell would it happen to you? How the hell, why would it attract to you? Why would it come to you if you yourself don't even believe that you deserve it? You have to believe that you are deserving first. Your life is what you perceive it to be. If you perceive everything in a negative way and you're always trying to find the negative in everything that happens in the world and everything that happens in life, then that's all you're going to get out of life. You're just going to get a whole bunch of negativity. You're going to be depressed probably, and you're probably going to hate your life because you're so focused on everything that's negative. Not saying that you're not allowed to have feelings, or you're not allowed to not like certain things in your life, or that your life is like, you know, perfect or anything. Like, I can understand that there can be things that happen that might not be great, but yeah, there may be things that are not so great, but then there also are a lot of things that are great that you should be grateful for. So instead of focusing on the things that are so great, focus on the things that are good. Instead of focusing on the things that you cannot control, focusing on the things that you have no ability to change, focus on the things that you can do. Focus on the things that you can change. Focus on the positive things. Because if you're only thinking of the negative, then it's going to seem as if the negative only outweighs the positive. Your life is a reflection of the way that you think about things. If you think negatively about everything, then you're going to attract a whole bunch of negativity into your life. And of course, things are going to happen in your life. Like, not great things are going to happen in your life regardless of what your mindset is, because that's just a part of life. Inconveniences are going to happen, or just bad things are just going to happen. That's just a part of being alive. But you set yourself up for failure. It's almost like a form of self-sabotage when you say things like that, like, my life is terrible, or I'm gonna have a terrible life, or I'm gonna have a terrible day. Like, just speaking things like that into the universe, speaking things like that into your own energy field and into your own reality, it's just not good. I myself struggle with that sometimes too, like just getting out of the habits of doing things like that, because it is really hard to actually condition yourself out of doing things like that, especially when you've been used to it for so long. Even if it's a joke, like, the universe doesn't know it's a joke. They're just gonna act accordingly. And so it's like, it's definitely like a challenge to like unlearn all those things, even for somebody who's been working on, you know, my spiritual journey for a few years. It definitely is a challenging thing that I still am like working on, and being careful with the words that I say, because they can actually manifest. Dressing a certain aesthetic, collecting crystals, burning sage every day, all of that stuff, it doesn't make you more spiritual than the next person. I'm not gonna say I used to think that it made you more spiritual, but I guess I could say it was just more aesthetically pleasing to me, in my opinion. But when I first started my spiritual journey, like, I used to always want to collect all these crystals. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, get your crystals, burn your sage. Y'all need, you know, ain't nothing wrong with it. Do what you gotta do, girl. But I used to be way more like into it when I first started my spiritual journey, just because I felt like I kind of had to do that in order to be considered spiritual. Like, oh, how are you spiritual and you don't have a crystal collection, and you don't know what all the crystals do, and you don't use sage, and you don't do this, you don't do that. But it's like, one thing that I've had to realize is that spirituality is not about how many crystals you can collect, not about like how much sage you can burn in your house, like how clean the energy is in your house. Like, it's not about that. It's about connecting with source. It's about connecting with your higher self. It's about connecting with the universe, with nature, with everything. The physical and material things don't really matter. That's not what our purposes here are as spiritual beings. So those things don't really matter. Of course they're cool, like to have the crystals and have all that stuff, because I still have my crystals and everything. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not knocking it or anything, not saying don't use them, but just because you don't have them or just because you do have them doesn't mean that you're more spiritual or that you're better than somebody else. That doesn't do that, because at the end of the day it's about their relationship with the universe, their relationship with their higher self, how connected and close they are with their intuition. Like that is what that is the most important things when it comes to spirituality, not the crystals or anything physical like that. You're gonna have to accept the fact that it's gonna get lonely sometimes when it comes to like having a spiritual journey, because a lot of people are not gonna understand you. They're gonna think you're crazy. They're gonna think you don't know what you're talking about. They're gonna think you have schizophrenia. They're gonna think you have spiritual psychosis. Like they're gonna think all these things about you. They're not gonna understand what you're talking about, and it's gonna feel really extremely lonely. But one of the most important things to remember is that it is your job here as a spiritual being that is going through a journey, a spiritual journey or a spiritual awakening. It is your job to be different. It's not your job to fit in. You are meant to go outside of the box. You are meant to go outside of society's standards. You are not meant to be upheld to those standards. You have your own list and set of standards. So it's okay that you're not going to fit in with everybody else. It's okay that you're not going to be the exact same as everybody else. You're supposed to have different opinions and you're supposed to express them. And people are going to judge you. People are going to think you're crazy. People, you might lose friends. You might lose family members. You might lose a lot of shit. But you just have to remember, like, all of it's gonna be worth it in the end. It's all gonna pay off once you get to where you're supposed to be at in life. People are gonna call you a demonic. You're gonna do all that stuff. And you know, it's like when people say things like that, like, oh, you're demonic, you do witchcraft, it's like I automatically know that they are uneducated, because like if you knew anything about spirituality, that is not what it's about at all. That is a dark part of spirituality, just like how there's a dark part of any other religion, like Satanism or whatever. But that is not what most people are talking about when they say I practice spirituality. We are talking about everything of love, of the light, of pure joy and happiness, not anything with dark magic or anything like that, child. We don't do that shit over here. I don't want karma, honey. Listen, ain't got nothing to do with me, child. But I've had like a lot of experiences with that, like feeling extremely lonely. Like I don't really have anybody to talk to when it comes to like spirituality, and just like different opinions that I have, because I don't really have anybody else in my life that is spiritual other than my mom. Everybody else in my life is pretty much like either a Christian or just not spiritual. And you have to also remember that people who are not spiritual have a whole different thinking process than people who are spiritual. Like our brains are not operating the same, and it's like not a bad thing. Like no one's better than the other. We're just different. We don't operate the same. Like people are not the same. People don't learn the same. People don't think the same. People don't use logic skills the same. Like that's just how it is. People are different. Also, like, can we stop talking shit about people just because they know that they're different than other people and they point it out? Like not all the time. We're not always trying to be quirky. We're not always trying, oh, I'm so different. No, bitch, I literally am. I'm different than y'all. Like not like a lot of y'all. And it's like not even in a bad way. Not in a bad way. I'm just different. I know I am, and it's okay. It's a-okay. Honey, ain't nothing wrong being different. Just always remember that your light is meant to shine. If you're different, if you have an opinion that's different, or you're just different and unique in yourself, express that. Be yourself. Don't let anybody shame you for fulfilling the purpose that the universe and God gave you. One thing that I always say to myself as well to help me like get through times where I feel like, am I really doing the right thing? Like what if I actually am just crazy? Like sometimes I doubt myself. But one thing that I always like tell myself that helps me feel better is, especially when it comes to like breaking generational curses, I'm looking at the history of my family. Now, no shade to them, you know, they're all great. I love them to death, but I don't want to be like them. Okay, like I want to be more successful. I want to be myself. I want to have individuality. I don't want to work 9 to 5, work for somebody else. Like, I want to do my own shit. I want to express my creative talents, my passions. So I'm not going to do the exact same things that they did. I'm not going to do the exact same things that they would tell me to do. I'm not going to be taking advice from somebody that is not where I want to be at in life. I'm not doing that. If you want to be different than what you see all around you, you have to do different shit. You cannot say, oh, I want to be big, I want to make a change in this world, I want to do something unique and special in this world, and then do the same thing everybody else is doing. You have to do different shit. So don't be afraid to go outside of the box. Don't be afraid to do something that nobody else is doing, or that not very many people around you are doing. Do whatever your spirit calls you to do. Trust yourself, trust your intuition. Stop listening to other people. They are not you. Nobody can tell you what is meant for you. Nobody can tell you what journey, what path, what anything that's meant for you, because they are not you. Only you can tell yourself that. Listen to yourself, period. And that's on what? On period. Is this base looking good or not? Oh my god, I'm gonna try that Hourglass concealer again, because I tried it once and I did not like it. Everybody raves about the shit. They're like, oh my god, it's so good, it's so creamy. It creased so bad on me. It was terrible, but I'm gonna try it again. Okay, so I have the mini size right here. So you're gonna try it under my under eye and see what it gives. Hopefully it does not crease. I'm gonna cry. It's supposed to be like really full coverage too, so kind of want to brighten up my under eye just a little bit. Not too much, nothing too much. Is it giving creamy? I mean, it's alright, I guess. That's nice. I guess it's good. I guess I'll keep using it. Maybe I just don't want to put too much. Maybe I put too much last time. Okay, so the last thing that I wish I knew before I started my spiritual journey, which honestly should be the first thing, because this was something that I still low-key struggle with, but learning and accepting the fact that you are not perfect. Just because you're spiritual does not mean that you have to never get mad. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to have emotions. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to get sad. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to curse. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to smoke weed or drink or do anything. Like, you're still a human being at the end of the day. You're not just like some fucking alien or something. Like, you're still a person that has emotions and feelings. Like, you're totally valid to not be perfect every day. Also, one thing that I think that a lot of people need to remember when you're going on a spiritual journey is that you are on a journey, honey. You are not meant to be perfect by next week. This is something that is lifelong. Like, this is going to take a long time for you to perfect. Like, I always beat myself up over the fact that, like, I'm not doing certain things, or like I'm not at certain places that I wish I was at. But I always have to remind myself that it's a part of the journey. You're gonna have to actually really do the work in order to see the results, and it's not easy. And it doesn't, like I said, it does not happen overnight. But there's definitely a lot of misconceptions about like people who are more spiritually aware, that we are like perfect, or we're invincible, or like we are not allowed to do certain things. We're not allowed to like just make mistakes and fuck up and not be perfect sometimes. Like, at the end of the day, like I said, you're still a person. You're still a human being who is learning, who is experiencing, who is evolving every day. So you're never going to be 100% perfect. We need to start holding ourselves up to way more realistic standards, especially when it comes to like being on a self-growth journey. Like, don't expect yourself to just be perfect by next month. It is a journey. Like, you're not gonna just wake up one day and you're automatically perfect at everything. Like, you're gonna have to go through the ups and downs and like just the whole process of becoming better at something. So don't beat yourself up too bad about it. That's a reminder for you guys and me, because I need to also hear that as well, because I be on my own ass sometimes, like feeling like shit because I didn't do a certain thing. But ain't nothing that you can do to go back in the past. All you can do is change the present and what you can do right now. Focus more on that and not what you shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like I said, it's about learning to balance your emotions. It's not about just being perfect like from here on. Like, that's not what it is. People need to be more realistic. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this look with a little bit of bronzer. Let me know if you guys like these videos like this. I really do want to talk more about like my spiritual journey and different things like that on this channel, which I think I'm just going to go ahead and stop being a pussy and just do it. One of the main reasons why I haven't done it is because I just feel like people might not like the content. But I don't know, I feel like there's always going to be people out there that want to see your shit, and there's people that don't want to see your shit, and whoever wants to see your shit will find it and watch it, and whoever doesn't won't. So that's okay with me. But yeah, I hope this video could resonate with somebody or help somebody go through their spiritual journey and realize a lot of things that come with like going through one. Because just relying on like TikTok and shit and like just social media as a whole. I mean, I know this is social media too, but like just relying on like not realistic standards, like just what you see on a vlogger or an influencer's page, like is not always 100% how it is, especially like I said on TikTok, because they just be saying anything on there, like literally, especially like those stupid ass like tarot readers, like, oh, this came on your For You page for a reason, I didn't put any hashtags on here. Like, girl, shut the fuck up. Like,
girl, shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that.
people see things like that and then they take spirituality as a joke because they think that that's what it's like, but it's really not. Like, these are just people that are milk. Some of these people are not actually tarot readers, they just milk for views, or like they scam people and shit. So it's like, I really hate when they do shit like that because it makes us look bad. Okay, I tried like a new lip color. I really like it, but I don't know, I just feel like something feels off. Like, wait a minute, it might be the fact that I don't have enough blush on. Oh shit, my camera's about to die. Let's hurry this up then. Okay, so here's the finished look. I feel like this looks a lot better. I feel like the mascara definitely tied it all together. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. Also follow me on all my social media. Check out my podcast if you're interested. The link is in my description, and I'll see you in the next video that I post.